By this point in the proposed speech, the contiguous line of thought seems obvious. 6 times the ancient writer already has the ancient speaker illustrating the shift from just doing religion to being in the way. His listeners are advised to build their character, a treasure contained within themselves, and they are advised not to be anxious while doing it. In this video, we see the ancient writer's depiction of the speaker's warning against mental meddling into the lives of others. The concept speaks profoundly to the great debate between atheists and theists today. The speaker seems to remind his listeners again to hunger and thirst for righteousness, not be full of it. Do not judge, lest you be judged. For in the way you judge, you will be judged, and by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you. And why do you look at the speck that is in another's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? How can you say to another, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," and behold, the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of another's eye. Do not give what is holy to dogs, and do not throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn and tear you to pieces. Many theists claim the ancient speaker is saying here, first become a righteous person yourself, and then you are in a position to judge another person. Many atheists say, see, your own teacher's telling you not to judge me, you hypocrite. Both atheist and theist seem to express, don't waste your time trying to talk to the clueless. And yet neither atheist nor theist takes this advice for themselves. The great debate rages on. The ancient writer has Jesus illustrating the circular nature of the problem. He says that judgment just begets similar judgment. Instead, one should put effort into improving oneself. Intentionally throwing righteous pearls of wisdom before dogs and swine requires one to first judge who are the dogs and who are the swine. Furthermore, one must also judge that their pearls of wisdom are indeed pearls. How easy is it to see that a conversation that begins, "Let me straighten you out," generally degrades into ruin. Mental meddling into the lives of others is the essence of judgment. Modern atheists express pearls of wisdom about the delusion of theists. Modern theists cast their own pearls about the godless immorality of atheists. Thus, atheists and theists are torn from understanding each other at all. Can belief and disbelief coexist? I think so, as long as we do not get our validation by judging who we are better than. The way this takes place is in trying to understand one another. A few so-called debates sound like intelligent conversation today. There are only a few theists and only a few atheists who have recognized this problem. They have begun to ask each other questions instead of making assertions about one another. While wisely expressing what is wrong with another person, one always expresses what is wrong with oneself. Those with this way about them are not to be a source of irritation for others. The ancient speaker seems to have said, "Judge not lest you be judged, by the same measure with which you judge." I suspect that most of us decide who we are better than. Theists express themselves as doing better than atheists. Consequently, theists receive corresponding judgment by the same measure of judgment theism employs. Atheists also express themselves as doing better than theists. Consequently, atheists likewise receive corresponding judgment by the same standard of measure atheism employs. By seeing the speck in another's eye, by seeing others as flawed, one is already judged. The need to judge alone is quite a log in your own eye. Until you can shed this need to judge, you cannot debate anyone. They will turn and tear you to pieces via the same measure by which you judge. The so-called great debate between atheist and theist causes so many to walk away from heated discussions with family, friends, and faith groups. Casting pearls of wisdom at each other leaves relationships torn to pieces. The greater wisdom today seems to have become to isolate ourselves from one another. This is especially true on Sunday. As a result, we huddle with those with whom we already agree. The greater conversation is thus squelched. In the next video, we will look at religion's famous name it and claim it passage. How does so-called provision really happen? Is it from God or from human beings?